Bitcoin, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review, looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We're looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Sunday the 25th of July. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against US dollar, it's been a choppy start to the day. Going to see Bitcoin avoid a fall back through the pivot at 34.076 to take a run at the first major resistance level, saying at 34.730. Bitcoin will need support from the broader market to break out from 34,500 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 35,000 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Bitcoin target 36,000 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 35,181. A fall back through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 33,625 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid sub 32,000 levels. Second major support level 32,971 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACDs, we have a widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day. That's coming off the back of this morning's pullback. More significantly, however, are the EMAs, with the 50 pulling further away from the 100 and the 200, suggesting further upside ahead. So key would be to move now back through the pivot at 34.076 and through to 34,500 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Ethereum against US dollar, also a bearish start to the day. Going to need to see Ethereum move back through the pivot at 2164 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 2222. Support from the broader market is going to be needed to break out from yesterday's high. That was at 2200. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ethereum target 2300 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 2257. Failure to move back through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 2129 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should avoid sub 2100 levels. Second major support level sits at 2072. Looking at the MACDs, we have a widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day. That's coming off the back of this morning's pullback. So look out for a narrowing to support further upside and a recovery of this morning's losses. On the EMAs, it's still a bullish indicator, with the 50 pulling further away from the 100 and the 200, suggesting further upside ahead. Any flattening and expect Ethereum to come under pressure. So key would be to move back through the pivot at 2164 and back through to 2200 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Litecoin against US dollar, particularly bearish start to the day. Going to need to see Litecoin move back through the pivot at 126 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 128. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Litecoin to break out from yesterday's high. It was at 127.82. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, we've got the second major resistance level at 130 that will likely come into play. Failure to move back through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 124 back into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid sub 120s. Second major support level at 122 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACDs, we have a widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day. That's coming off the back of this morning's sell-off. So look out for a further widening that would come off the back of further downside and signal pressure on Litecoin through the morning. On the EMAs, following yesterday's bullish cross 100 through the 200, we've seen the 50 flatten on the 100 and the 200, while the 100 has pulled away marginally from the 200, supporting a recovery this morning. So key would be to move back through the pivot at 126 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will remain in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, also a particularly bearish start to the day. Going to see Ripple's XRP move back through the pivot at 6104 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 6198. Going to need to see plenty of support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to move back through to 0.61 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 0.62059 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, we've got the second major resistance level at 0.63 that will likely come into play before any pullback. Failure to move back through the pivot would leave the first major support level at 6002 in play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, however, Ripple's XRP should avoid the second major support level of 0.5907. Looking at the MACDs, widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day, that's coming off the back of this morning's pullback. So keep an eye out for a further widening that would signal downside ahead. More significantly on the EMAs, we've seen the 50 EMA flatten on the 100 and the 200, though the 100 has widened from the 200 marginally, supporting that stabilization in the early part of the morning. So keep an eye out for a narrowing that would signal further downside. So key would be to move back through the pivot 6104 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will remain in play.